Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. You can also get your membership to this channel, so every time we go live, you have access to our chat room when we are on the live. No one else has access to the chat when we're on the live, except for the members of the channel. It's a small fee, but it's worth it. Now, without further ado, let's get right into this material. So, we reported yesterday that famous singer slash rapper, uber multi-talented artist Tory Lanez, who got in trouble for shooting Megan Thee Stallion and was sentenced to a decade in prison in California, was stabbed about 14 times yesterday. According to reports, it said that Tory had two collapsed lungs and was not breathing on his own. He was in critical condition. He was placed on a breathing machine, but quickly started to recover and then was taken off the breathing machine. Now, I don't know if that makes sense. I would have to ask like my medical students and my medical professionals. Have you ever heard of anybody suffer two collapsed lungs and in less than 24 hours, they are up speaking normally off a breathing machine and getting back to normal already? I find that information kind of suspicious. However, let's get into the details of who did it and why they did it. Okay? So, according to the New York Post, who brought the information out, they said that Tory Lanez stabbing suspect, the person who stabbed him, has a rap sheet which includes murder that landed him in prison. The inmate who allegedly stabbed Tory Lanez in prison this week has been identified as Santino Casillo, and he's already serving a life sentence in prison for possibly with the possibility of parole. That means he's doing a life sentence, but he could possibly someday be returned to civilian world. Now, a representative from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, or CDCR, said that Casillo is a 42-year-old man, and he's being investigated for attacking Tory Lanez at a housing unit in a California correctional institution in a place called Tehachapi, where Tory Lanez is housed. And it happened on Monday, May 12th at approximately 7:20 a.m. out on the yard. Casillo's rap sheet is about a mile long and dates back to 2004. He is known as a professional criminal. This is a career criminal and a convict, seasoned. And when he was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder back in 2004, he also caught a first-degree attempted murder charge, personal use of a dangerous or deadly weapon, and the inflicting of great bodily injury, according to the report that landed him in prison. Tory is among some very, very dangerous people. When we did the video yesterday, somebody said in the comment section, "Damn, how could this happen in prison? Where were the guards?" And I'm just thinking how sheltered many of us are. Now, it's a flex, for sure, to have never been inside of a prison. But I've watched enough prison videos that are not movies, they are cameras inside of the prisons. And I know enough people who have done time in prison, both family members and friends, close associates, who have come back with the war stories of what goes on behind those walls. So there are stories of a lot of the times the guards are complicit. Sometimes the guards themselves are involved. They will extort you. Tory Lanez is known to have a lot of money. He is also known to have a lot of fame. He should not be in general population. Not saying that being in protective custody, this cannot happen to you as well, but they might have to actually put Tory in lockdown for his own safety. The problem with the lockdown is you are isolated for 23 hours a day and you get 1 hour out and you're still by yourself in a cage or in a separate area where you get to walk around and exercise a little bit before they lock you back in for another 23 hours. That can take a toll on somebody's mind, right? No one wants to be in solitary confinement at all. Now, if you're in solitary confinement for your own safety, the prison can justify having you in solitary confinement, but you can also bet that your mental state will start to deteriorate. A lot of people who have been in solitary confinement have said that they lost their minds completely while they were in solitary. They started seeing things. They started hearing things that weren't there. They started feeling like bugs were crawling all over them. The walls are closing in on them. They started having anxiety issues. And people who had no mental issues before they got placed in solitary confinement came out of solitary confinement suicidal, homicidal, and all the other sidles you can think of. So it's not a good look. So for those who are so virgin to this that you have no idea what it's like in prison, prison is not the place to be, man. And guards don't look out for you. The guards are looking out for themselves because that's a dangerous environment. And they're just trying to do their 8-hour shift and go home safely to their families so they can get up and do it again tomorrow so they can earn a paycheck at the end of the week. You are pretty much on your own. Now, as far as Tory Lanez getting stabbed, Tory Lanez is probably not going to say who stabbed him. And I said this in the last video. This is convict code because Tory has years to go. So he has to play by the rules. If he is seen as a snitch, they're going to have to take him out of there and put him in solitary confinement anyways. Tory Lanez some people are arguing that he should be locked up in Florida since that is where he is from. But his crime happened in California, so he has to serve the time in California. Some people are arguing that Tory is not a violent person by any means, and one drunken night and an accident, and now he is placed with high-risk individuals who are literally murderers who are doing time for their murders. They got bodies for real. So they might be looking at Tory like extortion, run that money. And if he's not running the money, poke him up, stab him up. And this doesn't have to be inmates, shot callers, gang leaders. This could also be coming from a guard who wants to extort a celebrity behind bars. So they will have the inmates do their work for favors to the inmate. You get how it works? Yeah. So on January 3rd of 2008, during his incarceration, Casio, the guy who allegedly stabbed Tory Lanez 14 times and collapsed 2 lungs, Casio was sentenced to an additional 6 years for assault by a prisoner with a deadly weapon of force, likely to cause great bodily injury, one of his reports from the CDCR representative said. That means he poking people up in prison. He in there, Tory is not his first victim. He has done somebody else like this before. So over 10 years later, he was given an additional 2 years for possession and manufacturing of deadly weapons by a prisoner. He is seasoned in. He is in there making shanks. You know, some people in there, that's their job. They make shank. That's how they get their money. They make shanks and they sell them to other people in there, right? And everybody start feeling like, yo, it's dangerous in here. I need a shank. I'm going to have to carry one of these to protect myself. Now, again, for virgin ears, I don't know if you know it, but in prison, they got something that's called boofing. Boofing. Ask somebody who been in there. And they got something that's called your prison purse. So you're going to boof it and put it in your prison purse. Simply means you're going to stuff your shank up your ass, and that's where you will carry it. A lot of people who have done time in prison, they should be getting some mental help when they get out of prison. If you can only imagine being in survival mode to the point where you have to walk around with a makeshift knife stuck up your rectum hole, and in case of danger, you have to know how to quickly pull it out and use that shitty shank to stab somebody to save yourself. Casio, his mugshot dates back to June 7th of 2022, revealed a bald, heavily tattooed man with a very menacing look. On Monday, an investigation into Tory Lanez stabbing was initiated by the California Correctional Institution, the state's prison system, where Tory Lanez is serving a 10-year sentence. What has come out, though, is that people have been notified who are in positions of power, and they are looking into this incident and taking it very seriously. Well, listen, that's prison. The Kent County District Attorney's Office confirmed that they were waiting for a formal complaint following the investigation before any possible charges are brought forward. See, they're going to have to do their investigations, right? They're going to have to find out, did Tory Lanez instigate this? What did he do? What role did he play in this? Did he do something to this individual first and the individual retaliated? Or is he being victimized? And is he a soft target that needs to be moved to higher protection levels? Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, he was stabbed many times, 14 to be exact, in this particular incident. He was rushed to a nearby hospital in Bakersfield, California, in an ambulance. You know it's bad because they have an infirmary at the prison. So if they're rushing you out to a hospital, having an outside ambulance come in to get you, you know that it's terrible. And again, Tory was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, which tells a lot of people that he was attacked from behind. 7 times stabbed in his back. Then he got stabbed 4 more times in his torso. And then he got 2 more to the back of his head. And then he got 1 to the left side of his face. Again, it said in the report that both his lungs collapsed and he was placed on a breathing machine. The statement continued to say that he was now breathing on his own and he is recovering from his injuries. They've also gotten some pictures showing some of the injuries. A lot of people are saying, yo, this is your karma because you shot Megan and now men are stabbing you. You know, despite being in pain, his team has said that he is still in good spirits and, you know, he's still being optimistic and all that. Well, we wish Tory all the best, man. But listen, I said it on the last video and I'll end this video by saying it again. Do your best to stay up out of these people's prison, please, because prison is not the place you want to be. It's a whole different world behind those walls, and a whole lot of things go down behind those walls. All right? I'll catch you on the next video, and we will stay close to this Tory Lanez situation to see how it works out, and we'll keep you updated. Hit that subscribe button. click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.